COVID first started, I was telling myself, saying, no worries, like, because SARS lasted only like half a year. Say, okay, like, take a break, have a good rest for 6 months, and when it's over, it's, back to Boomtown Charlie again. But unfortunately, COVID, as it turned out, was a global thingy, right? After a while, it got very terrifying, like, because I think we are the worst hit industry. A lot of them kept their jobs. Some maybe had pay cuts, but we had zero.
Professional adrenaline fueled by passion. That's what we're talking about today. Our guest Guan has hosted events from massive tech conferences to intimate galas. He's going to tell us how to turn a love for bringing people together into a lucrative, thrilling, and truly passionate career. Let's welcome in Guan. Yeah.
Thank you, Zane. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. Could you just give a quick introduction of yourself?
I'm a show host. I've been doing it for a pretty long time. If I tell you how many years, you'll probably guess my age. But I've been doing it for about 30 years.
30 years, wow. That's a wealth of experience. How did you actually get started on hosting?
A bit of a long story, but we have time, right? Okay, my first job after leaving the army was to join Singapore Airlines as a flying waiter.
Right, so you were a steward.
Yeah, right. Offering coffee or tea on me.
Okay.
Everybody took coffee or tea, but never me. And through that job, I got to know some senior crew who were running. Those days were very popular, like mobile discos.
Mobile discos, wow. Maybe for the sake of our younger viewers, could you just describe what a mobile disco is?
Okay, these days you call them AV system, But those days, when you have a party in a hotel or a private function, you engage the mobile disco, and this mobile disco will do what the event organizers are doing these days.
So they have a stage, they have a sound system, everything.
They have a sound system, they provide the DJ, they provide the MC, they provide the games and the program. Okay. So these crew, they were doing it as a side thing, Right. They were still flying, but I left the airline. So by chance, I ran into them, and they said, hey, since, you are doing nothing much, you want to come and join us to just, have fun,
Okay.
Play with the lights or smoke machine and all that.
Yeah.
So which is what I did. Then after a while, they said, hey, it sounds like you can actually talk war. Why don't you try going up on stage and, and start hosting?
So it was purely accidental, in a sense?
Pretty much. I remember my first job was $80.
Wow, okay. For the whole thing?
For the whole thing,
right.
Yeah. So that actually started it. So to cut the long story short, I did not go into it immediately.
Okay.
So from there, I went into marketing. I joined the advertising agency. I was an account servicing personnel. But along the way, I started moonlighting, like weekends, do D&D and all that. And after a period of about 3-4 years, I decided to turn full-time.
You realized you had a flair for it?
Well, I realized I had a flair for it. I enjoyed doing it.
Right.
But because I have no namesake, I'm not a TV host, radio DJ. I did not come from Manhunt. So I have to start from scratch, right? I needed that period of time to build myself up, to network, to let the other events people know that there is such a person called Guan doing bilingual MC. I'm effectively bilingual. So those days, effectively bilingual MCs of my price range is very, very rare.
Must be pretty rare.
Yeah,
right?
not like these days.
Even these days, it's not easy to be effectively bilingual, I would say.
But I would say there are a lot more than compared to my time. So because of that, I think I had a pretty good start. So the jobs started coming in, and when I got a bit sick of my advertising job, I decided to turn full-time, telling myself that if it works. It doesn't work, then I'll go back to knocking on agency doors to get my job back.
That actually brings me to my next question. Sure. How did you get your first break?
Kind of like a dinner and dance for this group of this small company. Now, they have to start me small already, then give me a major show. Right. So yeah, it was quite. Even though I've had experiences in the past during school days when we have school concerts. Or my cousins getting married, and then at the dinner they say, "Hey, you go and be our MC," that kind of thing. So I had a bit of experience doing that in the earlier days, But to really do it professionally and get paid, although it's only $80, it's a different ballgame altogether. You know, I mean, you want to do it well. You want to make sure you're worth that $80.
Definitely. In your opinion, what are some skills that are necessary to become a good host?
I think you have to be people-oriented. And you also have to be, I don't know whether the rest of my peers would agree with me, but you also have to be a bit of an attention seeker. Not a bit, in fact, very much of an attention seeker, because...
Center of attention.
Right. You have to really love that adulation from the crowd and all that. So only when you have that, then you can do a good job.
You can thrive on getting an emotion or like a response out of them.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Could you name some other memorable events that you have hosted?
Okay, I would say that there's so many. I've been in it for so long, right?
Of course.
But I think I'm most proud of the fact that I was with Chingay Parade for 20 years.
I mean, that's huge, right?
I was with them from Orchard Road to Marina Bay to eventually F1 Pit Building. Very proud of that, because I don't think that many MCs in Singapore would have a recurring job for 20 years.
Are you still hosting it to this day?
No, unfortunately, because after COVID, they decided to change their target audience to younger demographic. I still enjoy it. I mean, after 20 years, there's this attachment to
Definitely
the event. When I didn't get to do it anymore, it was quite a sad thing.
I can totally imagine.
I had to overcome that for a while.
There must be a sense of attachment.
Very much so. And then with my own band of brothers, every year it's almost the same guys, and it's like a reservist thing every year.
And you see everyone.
Yeah, it's very, very fun. So I miss those days.
So again, as we all know, hosting is part of the gig economy, right? And I'm sure during COVID, it was a very, very tough time, not just for you, but for everyone in the gig economy. So maybe you could just describe a little bit of what went through.
COVID first started, I was telling myself, saying, no worries, because SARS lasted only half a year. So I sort of told myself, say, okay, take a break, have a good rest for 6 months, and when it's over, it's, back to Boomtown Charlie again. But unfortunately, COVID, as it turned out, was a global thingy, right? Exactly. So it went on, and after a while, it got very terrifying, because I think we are the worst hit industry. The entertainment industry is the worst hit, because for the others, a lot of them kept their jobs. Some maybe had pay cuts, but we had zero jobs.
So it was actually zero revenue.
Zero. I was jobless for close to 2 years. Wow. Of course, there was some help from the government. Being self-employed, I got some money and all that. But having said that, can you imagine 2 years with no income?
That's crazy.
And there are still commitments at home. You have to feed the family. You have to pay the mortgage and all that. So what I did was to actually surrender a couple of my insurance policies, tie me through that period.
I understand. So you actually got to that point.
But I have to say this. I think I've repeated this many times. You must have a positive outlook. Okay. I think what really saved me during that period was my very positive attitude to life. Like in Chinese, you say, 你开心也是要过一天，不开心也要过一天，所以你的选择很明显的 right? So I choose to be happy. So of course there were scary moments but I think when it was all over, I was proud of myself, how I managed to overcome my fear, and also to live out that period of doomsville, a lot of people say it's doomsville. It
was like end of the world, that kind of...
Pretty much so, man. And the light of the tunnel was never going to happen for a while. So it was a total of 2 years before I actually saw the light at the end of it.
What do you think it was that actually kept you going all this time?
First and foremost, I'm very lucky to be doing something that I enjoy. Something about we love what we do and we do what we love.
Definitely. As cliche as it sounds, right?
As cliche as it sounds. And then the passion, And it's something that I think after a while, I got pretty competent. And then with the experience, you can... No events will be difficult for me to handle. Because there are some MCs in the market, they just focus on being D&D MC or a fun MC. Some focus on, like the serious stuff like conferences, seminars and all that. I did everything from seminars to D&D to family days to official openings to concerts to cooking workshops and all that. So
Jack of all trades.
well, then I'm master of none. So because of that, every job is different from the previous one, and I get to adopt different personas. Right. So it kept the job very fresh. It's not like, oh, I have to be a fun MC every weekend, and then you tire out, right? Because this weekend I may be very fun and energetic. The following weekend I may be doing a very conference, you know. So there's a very good mix. And I think that basically kept me going.
So the variety keeps you going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the positive remarks and response from clients, from the event organizers, that one definitely kept me going.
Of course, for sure. I mean, when after a show they come to you and say, "Well, you know, you made it so fun. I really enjoyed hearing you talk."
We shouldn't thrive on testimonials, but when they come in, it really pushes you to do
validation. It just validates you, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, do you have any tips for somebody that's looking to come into this line, like maybe like a young person out there that's thinking of becoming a host? What would you say to them?
If you think you have it, you want to give it a shot, by all means. Uncle or 大哥 here tell you one thing,
Reality.
Reality
right?
bites, okay? The event scene is very different now from, say, 20, 30 years back. The platform is very different now. For one, Singapore's market is very small, and the pie is really quite small, right? But these days, there are so many MCs doing this thing, all right? But yet, the client's spending is no longer the same,
right?
All right, because during my time, I would say is the golden era of events in Singapore where the clients spend good money, you know.
More of a budget, maybe?
Good money on making sure that the event is elaborate, is spectacular, you know. But these days, I think a lot of EOs or event organizers will agree with me that the spending power is no longer as before.
A lot of cutbacks, you know, maybe.
A good example would be in the past, the MNCs will have two major events every year, right? One is the dinner and dance for the staff. One is the family day for the staff and family members, all right? But these days, they don't even do family days anymore. You know, they just, if they can, they'll just do a D&D.
Okay, budget constraints maybe?
Yeah, and all that. The other thing is, I find that the clients do not really care about finesse and experience anymore. As long as somebody is up there to talk and can get the event going, they are more than happy.
Just to get the job done.
Just get the job done.
Right.
And with no offense to say,
of course,
we now have influencers coming into the picture. Definitely. All right. So, like I mentioned earlier on, the pie is really very, very small. Right. So now the influencers come in and want a bite of this small pie that we have. It's tough, lah. Okay. So, Uncle here is not young. I'm semi-retired, by the way. So I'm not so concerned about myself anymore. But for the younger ones, I think it's going to be really tough if you want to make this your full-time job. Right. All right. Maybe if you have the interest, you think you have the flair, do it as a part-time thingy until you get a very strong foothold. Right. And you think that you really have it, then you give it a shot. But otherwise, I would think that these days it's not easy. You know, it's really not easy.
What skills do you think somebody should improve on themselves if they were to really pursue this full-time?
Show hosting is something that is very, how should I put this? It's not something that you can train, you know.
You either have it or you don't, that kind of thing.
Right. Unfortunately, that's the reality, you know. I'm now actually a trainer, and I give show hosting classes, and the name of the course is Show Hosting and Speaking in Confidence. When my learners come, I always tell them to please concentrate a little bit more about improving on the speaking in confidence rather than the show hosting thingy, because you really have it or you don't. It's a flair that it's not something that you can actually learn
right?
Or pick
by
up
the
from
book, study.
Correct. Yeah. To make it very, very clear, I think I am very competent as a live show MC, but I'm not good for TV or radio. So that's where you know your own limitations. I have never thought of myself as a possibility to become a TV show host or a radio DJ. Yeah, I know my limitations. So I concentrate on what I'm good at, which is being a live show MC, right? So that's what I mean. Either you have or you don't. If I have it, I think I would have gotten into TV and radio a long time ago because I know a lot of people in the TV and radio industry.
Right.
All right.
So I would say you mentioned you have to stress on your speaking and confidence and find your niche, find what you're good at.
And the other thing I want to add on to anybody who wants to come into this as a full-time career, do not make the mistake that I made 30 years ago, which is to not contribute to CPF.
Right. That's a thing that most self-employed people make that mistake of, right?
It's a good thing that I have a lot of friends in insurance and they'll come to me and say, hey, help me. So I'll just sign. And every month, gyro, right? I'm very bad at managing my finances,
Accounting,
right? Yeah.
Okay.
So all these years, I think at one stage before COVID, including my mother's, I probably have about 6 policies, Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here is it's a good thing that I signed on the dotted line to support my friends for these policies. Yeah. Otherwise, during the COVID period, I would have died big time, right? Because I don't save, no CPF. My point here is really not just for MCs, for anybody who is self-employed. Yeah. Do go and do your voluntary CPF contribution. It will only be good in your old age.
You heard it from the man himself. We all know Guan, the host, but I want to know more about Guan, the person.
Okay.
So I understand that sometimes, hosting kind of feels like wearing a mask and going up there, regardless of whether you're happy, you're sad, you're feeling dejected and all that. Yes. So could you just share a little bit more about this? Like on days that you are not feeling the best.
Okay.
How do you actually get up there and, deliver?
So I'll use another very cliche saying, the show must go on.
Okay.
First thing first, I don't think of myself so much as putting on a facade.
Right.
Maybe a stage presence and speaking not like a half being kind of thing, right? Like when I talk to my friends and all that. So that one, of course, is being responsible to your job and what you want to be professional. But one of the things that I'm teaching at my class is to be genuine, especially for someone like me with no namesake. It's not like I'm not like Mark Lee or Flying Dutchman where I appear people who know me, right? Okay. So I need to make people like me in the shortest of time. When I go on stage, when I introduce myself, I need to win them over. Like a dinner and dance, I need to win them over because in the course of the whole evening, I need them.
Right.
I need 5 volunteers for this next game. I need 8 volunteers.
Evoke a response from them.
Yeah. And if they don't like me, they'll just sit there and fold their arms and say, I'm not going to go up for the games, right? Okay. So I feel that, like I tell my learners, I don't think of myself as a good-looking person, but I think I have the likability, which is quite crucial for...
Charisma?
Fully, I have that, Okay. When I go on stage, I just be myself. I think people will find that more appealing than putting on a false persona and then speak in American slang and trying to show people that, I'm so swanky and all that. Okay, I can't speak for the rest, but for myself, this is me.
Okay.
Pretty much
who you are in a nutshell. Right? Okay, that's perfect. Please demonstrate how you would host this show using your own style. Maybe you can look into our camera and just, say a few lines.
Hi, everybody. Nice to have you with us. I'm Guan, the host of the Click podcast, and today I have someone younger, better looking, with a lot more potential as a host of this kind of podcast than me. Let's welcome Zane.
Woo! That was perfect.
Okay.
Not just because of what you said, but that was amazing. Yeah. Thank you. So I just want to add in one point. So do you think the rise of AI these days has taken a lot of jobs away from hosts, MCs? Not yet.
I'm not discounting the fact that it might eventually, but the thing is, going back to what I say about being genuine and all that, how personal can an AI host be after a while?
Definitely. Technology can't really replace some elements of human touch.
You'll still be talking to someone with really no real persona or personality or character. So I don't know. But AI is a very scary thing. It could make or break.
It is.
So like I told my friends earlier on, in fact, we were just having this chat a few days back about this AI thing. I think 拭目以待 we really would know at this point.
Wait and see, right?
Yeah, wait and see, correct.
Okay,
yeah.
right. Guan, have you made any mistakes throughout your hosting career that you regret?
Are you kidding? Like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. If I were to look in the camera and say no, I'll be lying through my teeth, right? Of course I have lied, but one that I would remember in recent years would be actually my last Chingay before COVID. And thank goodness it was a rehearsal. But even at rehearsals, the bosses are around, we have spectators. So it's almost like the actual show, And, when you do something with a lot of passion, sometimes you're so into it that you don't even realize that you said something, okay? Something you have to know about me is I have this idol that, that I worship since young. Lee Kuan Yew. Okay. So at that particular rehearsal, I was having so much fun hyping up the crowd, even just a rehearsal. And then I went on to say, very soon we'll anticipate the arrival of our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew.
Okay, but he wasn't a Prime Minister then.
Of course not lah. This is recent years, It's supposed to be the son. So, and I went on until, my tagger came running to me and said, Guan, you just said Lee Kuan Yew. I said, I did? So, to me as an MC with so much experience, it shouldn't happen.
Okay.
But it happened.
It was just a slip of the tongue?
It's a slip of the tongue.
Okay.
But thank goodness, the bosses didn't really pick it up. Anyways, a lot of people don't really listen to MCs right now. We can just
get away with it a lot, right?
Yeah, we just hide down there and nobody will really realize. But that one was one grave mistake. And rather than to just ignore it, when I next came back on air, I said something quite lame, something to the excuse of, I was just making sure you guys were paying attention to see whether you picked that up or not, something like that, But what I do tell my learners these days during my classes is, if you make certain mistakes like this that's so grave, just come up and apologize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And be upfront about it.
Own it, right?
Yeah. So I think that would be, of course, I've made countless other mistakes, but this one is recent years and, it involved my idol. That's the thing, you see. I'm not lying about him being my idol, right? I think of him so much as our Prime Minister that, it's still, to me, he's still our Prime Minister.
Does being a host, one of the prerequisites is loving the limelight?
Oh, of course. As mentioned earlier on, I think MCs, just like celebrities or actors and singers, we are attention seekers. But it's just a matter of, the percentage, okay? If it's very high, then you become very 讨人厌, Okay, I would think that for me, it's probably 50%, Because something I realized about myself is in a party in the past or in any group gatherings and that kind of thing, I tend to be able to be the
life of the party?
I hope to say so, So that is already attention seeking, And then, I joined the airlines as a flight steward, right?
Right.
And then, at the airport with your luggage, you also feel them, that's attention seeking. That's attention seeking, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and then when you do your demos, those days a lot of live demos on board, attention, So it's me, I like the attention.
You've kind of always been a showman all your life.
I think you have to have that in you in order to light up the stage.
To thrive in this industry.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And I think, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm an attention seeker, but not many people.
In a good way, of course.
I hope to say so.
Yep.
I don't know if the other MCs agree with me, but yes, we are attention seekers.
Spoken from the man himself. Do you have any last words for our viewers out there? Like, what would you say to them, given the current climate? Anything else you want to add on about hosting and all?
I think I mentioned it earlier on already. This is actually not a good time for anyone to consider going into this full time with no namesake. What I'm trying to say here is, if you're already a TV personality, or if you're already a radio personality, yes, it's a lot easier. It's like Guan, former DJ from I don't know, 97.2 or whatever, right? So that might help a bit. But if you're really starting from scratch, like how I did in the past, it was easier for me then because a lot of jobs out there with a lot of clients who are willing to spend big money, right? So if someone young were to come to me and say, Guan, I want to be like you, become a show host, I'll probably sit him down and Likeability him and say you have to think twice. Like because if if you have a very good job right now, then I think you should just concentrate on that. But if you think you have the flair to go on stage and host, then do it on the side and get a stronger foothold. And if you think that you really want to, then you do the switch. But to actually, just plunge into it in this current climate,
it's a huge risk, right?
Yeah, it's scary. So I wouldn't really advise. I mean, like I said, it's very saturated already. And these days, you will find that I'll keep repeating myself, but it's true. The events are not like before. It's not as big budget, large scale,
And that's all the time we have for this episode of the Click Podcast. I hope hearing about Guan's journey into the world of event hosting has sparked some ideas for your own path. It's truly inspiring to see how they turn their natural energy and love for people into a fulfilling career. Remember, the key takeaway here is that your passion can absolutely be your paycheck. If you've got that spark for connecting people, managing a room, and creating unforgettable moments, maybe the microphone and the stage are waiting for you.
Okay, in a way, there's a difference between Guan.
When you switch on the camera and the camera not.
Yes. Hey, people have said this about me. Like, you say I walk like old man. I walk like old man, right? I hunch a back. But the minute I go on stage, the thing just disappear. So I think it's a job hazard thing,
Okay.
Yeah.